have the place until 8:45, so after our 8 companies pitch, we'll be able to go out and have some more food, beverage, and music. I think this is around our 60th in-person event over the last 13 years, so thank you guys for being part of our program. I want to thank our sponsors. So in the program book we have a sponsor page, and I want to shout them all out. Fairfax County EDA, we'll hear from David soon. Is David here? Okay. We got Refraction, we'll hear from Ray very soon. Northern Virginia Tech Council, AEG, we'll hear from Mark Haas very soon. Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce, Forbes Mazars, they're down in Florida at their annual conference right now, but they acquired a firm called Mazars, and they're now known as Forbes Mazars. They're right here in Tyson's Corner, full service accounting firm. Next, powered by Shulman Rogers. Check out My Next Raise if you have a startup. They are admitting for 12 months free a technology platform that allows companies that are raising money to become investor ready. So you can do they have cap table tools and other kinds of tools that you can use, and it doesn't cost anything. And after that, I think it's like $1,000 a year, but My Next Raise it's called. Startup Grind, Buzzy Rocket, New York Life, Keiretsu Forum, Institute for Excellence in Sales. Fred Diamond's here. He's the guy with all the books. The Dingman Center for Entrepreneurship and the Dingman Angels, Founder Institute, MIT Alumni Angels, Blue Venture Investors, Citrine Angels, female founders and female investors, Georgetown Entrepreneurship Initiative and the Technology Commercialization Office. They're here. They have a table back there. Maryland Tech Council, VMS, Ryan and Wetmore, Enterprise Transformation Solutions, and last but not least, the annual Wharton DC Summit. Ruan, can you raise your hand? Next week, Ruan has an all-day session right here at Vallow Park. It's the annual Wharton DC Innovation Summit. We've got a full day of great speakers, panelists, and networking. So if you're interested in learning more, Ruan's your guy. Or Ray, too. Perfect. Perfect. So now, I also want to bring to your attention the back, which is the QR codes that we have. So we have our social. We have 833 videos on our YouTube video, on our YouTube channel, so feel free to join. And we also have QR codes that list the names of all the registrants for the event here, and as well as upcoming events. So just if you have your calendar out, I'm not going to go through this later, but we have a virtual event on June 27th, the largest virtual investor event in the world. On July 24th, we have Connect Tales in Arlington, Virginia. And on August 8th, we have another event in DC, CONNECTpreneur Select Premium Meeting. We'll have 150. We'll be capped at 150. So anyway, without further ado, let me bring up Ray Stott, who's the CEO of Refraction. She's our sponsor tonight. If you guys are interested in the best co-working environment in the region, Ray's can show, she can actually take you upstairs to the 8th floor where our offices are at. So Ray, thank you.
Important public service announcement. First, the bar reopens after the pitches and only half of the food has been put out. So if you spent too much time meeting interesting people and didn't make your way to the bar or the food, you have an equal opportunity after this portion is done. I saw some down eyebrows when they looked at the food. So we will feed you, I promise. So good welcome everybody to the CONNECTpreneur Summerfest. I actually founded or co-founded Refraction 13 years ago, and after about 5 years stepped away. So it's quite a pleasure for me to be back at a CONNECTpreneur event, because CONNECTpreneur was the first ever event that Refraction went to when we hung out our shingle. When entrepreneurs in the area were tired of hearing after events like this that people who had raised funds were moving either to the Valley or New York to be closer to their investors. So our mission and vision is to make this a really fertile place for technology startups and scale-ups to put down roots, to grow, to take advantage of the incredible tech workers that we have in the area, to attract more, to make it easy for you to focus on what your genius is and to outsource the less important but still impactful things like, will your employees get donuts on Employee Appreciation Day? And how do you find your next investors? What the heck do you do 3 months after you hire someone and you need to set goals? All of those smaller pieces that will help you grow and scale a company. CONNECTpreneur, in at least my experience, is more than just an event. It's a community and a movement. We are delighted to be a part of it and very glad to see all of you here this evening as well. We love the way that CONNECTpreneur in particular celebrates the entrepreneurial spirit and shovels coal into the fire of the entrepreneurs that we have in the DMV region. We're very lucky to be connected with CONNECTpreneur and happy to have Tian on our board as well. If you don't know Refraction, we've actually been around for quite a while and we've done some really cool things, or our members have, and we measure our impact by the impact of some of our members. So we've raised over $750 million through our members for their companies, saved over 6.5 million tons of CO2 from going into the atmosphere, saved enough paper to reach the moon and back, overseen fair elections, stopped countless cyber attacks, educated children in refugee camps around the world, and even stopped illegal rhino poaching. I am delighted to hear the amazing things that the entrepreneurs this evening will be sharing with us that they do too, and I welcome you to the Summerfest. Thank you.
Great. We have a short program tonight, so you guys can continue networking after our last of our 8 pitches. I'd like to bring up David Kelly. Come on up, David, Vice President of Business Investment, Fairfax County Economic Development Authority. Thank you for your support and sponsorship. Would love to have you say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here tonight. This is a fantastic event, and it always has been, and we like to be a part of it. I also want to thank Refraction. Thank you. They do so much for our entrepreneurship and small business community in the area, and they're just fantastic. And I do have a story to tell later on of a company that was at Refraction. I just want you to know that Fairfax County and this region is an area for entrepreneurship. It is a hub for entrepreneurship, and we see that every day. We do have large companies here, but for the most part, our ecosystem is built with small companies. We have 41,000 employers in Fairfax County, and 95% of them are small businesses. That's just huge. I also want to talk a little bit about the capital investment in this area. The last 4 quarters, we have seen 100 deals at $1.5 billion, and that's just fantastic. And in fiscal year 2023, there are over $2 billion in fundraising, so just in Fairfax County. So that's fantastic. And we do a lot with small businesses. Again, I said we have large businesses, but the small businesses are really our ecosystem. And what those small businesses are doing, a lot of them in the sectors of cybersecurity, they're in space, and we're seeing a really boom in space, especially in Fairfax County, and aerospace technologies, as well as AI, cloud, quantum computing, and also with emerging technologies. So we like to really work with these companies and help them grow and deliver on their missions. And how we do that is through marketing communications. We also work with capital attraction, getting them the capital that they need as well. And then with site selection, technical assistance, and workforce development. And that's a huge thing for us, is getting the right people in those companies and working there. I do have a story. We all have stories. Our business investment managers all have stories about great companies. Well, in 2010, and I just started with the EDA, I went out to Reston, to Lake Anne, and met a small company in a townhouse. They're in a very small townhouse, and it was very hard to figure out which townhouse it was, but there were 3 people in that townhouse, and one of them was the founder, and he met with me, and we had a great conversation. He was fantastic. I couldn't believe what he was trying to do. He gave me a pitch and a demo, and it was just great. And the next year I met him, we went through the same thing, except for he was ready and almost ready to deliver the product. But he also told me he'd run out of friends and family, and he needed some capital investment and some help. And we worked with him and to his credit, he got 2 rounds of funding, and he just did a fantastic job. And within the next 10 years, he grew, and that company is worth, has over 300 people working for them. So that's a success story in Fairfax County. He also was part of he's GoCanvas, part of Refraction, and so he worked there as well. So that's just a fantastic, his aim was to get a lot of companies together and listen to other people's phone calls and create companies by doing that as well. So that was just great. So we have a lot of those stories. I am interested in hearing all the pitches tonight and all the new technology that's happening in our region. So with that, I'll turn it back to you. Thank you.
Thanks, David. By the way, have you guys heard of GoCanvas before? It's the company that David was talking about. So their founder, James Quigley, is a co-founder of Refraction and is on the board as well. They announced a sale last week of $800 million. They exited. And yeah, it gets better because when he was out of friends and family money, David, guess where he came? 13 years ago, he pitched at CONNECTpreneur and got a few investors. And we told the story the other night, you know, like, who knows? I'm sure James would have done great regardless of us, but it's nice to know that, you know, we helped support that company grow. So anyway, without further ado, Mark Haas, come on up. Mark's the CEO of AEG. Mark will introduce all of our presenters tonight. AEG is the leading community, I would say, right? Network and community of elite advisors and CEOs. And Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about it? And thanks for your support.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. There's nobody better to be in having your corner than Tian Wang. So he's the chair of AEG. So, thanks very much. So AEG is, I call it an ecosystem, and I get to use that term. No disrespect to David, but because I'm a recovering biologist. And it's an ecosystem of business advisors, CEOs, entrepreneurs, investors, and foundational people, foundations, economic development chambers of commerce, all working to make business faster and better by creating tight communities, exclusive communities of diverse disciplines. And I actually call it a time machine because the acceleration of trust means business gets done faster. So I appreciate everybody here. I've met a lot of you over the past couple years, and I appreciate all the incredible things you're doing. I tell people when I come to CONNECTpreneur and I watch a TED Talk, I think we're going to make it as a civilization because all kinds of good things get done here. So business is complicated and it's even complex, and having access to data is important, whether it's a business or a business process. And having accurate, timely, and relevant data is critical. And if you think of something like cancer research, it's even more important. I think I've lost the thread on Jonathan. Oh, there he is. Jonathan Cohen, President and CEO of 2020 Gene Systems, is going to tell us how he's going to do good things with cancer.
Thank you very much, Jonathan Cohen, President and CEO of 2020 Gene Systems. We are in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And we are a clinical lab testing company. Our main product is a multi-cancer early detection blood test. It's a small amount of blood. You can simultaneously screen for cancers like lung, liver, prostate, pancreatic, and others. We are right now the #2 market leader in the United States. We compete with a very well-known company called Grail. They're in the news of late, about an $8 billion company. They're being spun out this month out of Illumina. And our test differs from theirs in that we measure not DNA, but proteins, and I'll talk about those advantages. Last year, Inc. magazine ranked us the #1 fastest growing company in the state of Maryland by revenue. It was largely because of COVID testing, which we did a lot of, but we are also growing with our core business, cancer, about over 200% a year. Multi-cancer testing is very hot right now. Key opinion leaders, best-selling authors like Peter Attia are urging people to get these tests. Congress has a bill with over 300 co-sponsors, more than half of Congress, to expedite reimbursement for these tests. And there are initiatives at the NIH and the White House to accelerate these tests to reduce cancer mortality in America. Our test, in short, looks at proteins, not DNA. It has powerful AI algorithms that have been built with tens of thousands of individuals. And we've sold over 14,000 tests to date, with more and more each day. What are our main advantages over Grail and other emerging competitors? And simply put, it's better, faster, cheaper. Better best available evidence is that this approach of looking at tumor antigens or tumor proteins seems to detect more earlier stage 1 and 2, for many of the more deadly cancers like ovarian and pancreatic. Faster is faster access. We require a small quantity of blood that can be collected needle-free, pain-free, using devices, new devices that are coming on the market this year that can be accessed initially at pharmacy counters. And we have a pilot starting this summer at Giant. Here in Montgomery County, it's 7 Giants. That should be get kicked off in July or August. And then eventually at home, making it easy, affordable, convenient for people to screen their biomarkers, initially for cancer, but we have tests for other diseases as well. And cost, much less expensive than Grail Gallery, which is just under $1,000. We start at under $200. Cancer testing for everybody, not just the worried rich. Massive revenue opportunity. We project that about half of Americans will get these tests once a year before the end of this decade. And if we capture half of that market at scale at about $75 a test, we should be seeing about more than a $2.5 billion revenue opportunity. So we are trying to scale. And to do so, we're looking to raise $50 million this year. We have a firm commitment for $23 million from an East Asian private equity firm, very sophisticated. We have likely interest from at least one major Fortune 500 strategic, looking to do about another 20 or so million, preferably from American family offices, institutional investors, VCs, PEs, et cetera. Additionally, because we are consumer facing, we are doing crowdfunding. We've done a lot of crowdfunding and we're very good at it. We're raising money right now on WeFunder. So if you're not in a position to make a big investment tonight, please go to WeFunder, just put 2020 into the search. You can invest as little as $500, $1,000. If you invest $1,000, you will get a complimentary one test for you or a member of your family. We are probably, we believe, a near-term exit. We have substantial interest from potential acquirers. We are IPO ready, as raising money under Reg CF. We have all the audits. We have relationships with Wall Street bankers. So we are IPO ready when the markets open up. Thank you very much.
We're going to continue with the medical healthcare thing. A lot of procedures in hospitals are done by feel, by touch, and it'd be nice to have better data and more access and more insight into how to do things. So our next presenter, Howard Carolyn from CONNECTpreneur, is going to tell us how an ultrasonic technology he uses is going to make technology better. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. CONNECTpreneur is developing the Puma system. We're a medical device company out of Baltimore, Maryland, and the Puma system is a new category of minimally invasive surgical devices. Puma G, our first device, is 510(k) cleared and is proving to be the best way in the entire world to put in a feeding tube for adults and for children. This technology, Puma G, has been used in over 1,000 patients, and our safety data is proving to be an order of magnitude safer than the current standard of care. And our value proposition, our business case to hospitals, is a grand slam. We're in 35 hospitals today. We did over $1 million in revenue last year with a small sales team, and we're ramping. So we're raising money to scale this business. We're targeting $9 million in new funding. The Puma system fundamentally is a portfolio of really simple catheters. These are mechanical devices, and we're riding a big wave in medicine. ultrasound, most people don't know this, but ultrasound has become the #1 most used imaging mode in the entire world. It's a lot like cell phones. Everybody's got a cell phone. Everyone in medicine has ultrasound. But it doesn't work anywhere there's air in the body. So really important regions like the lungs and the stomach and the bladder and pubic region have been out of bounds for ultrasound. A doctor at Hopkins figured out how to use ultrasound using these simple catheters in these hollow regions. So we're taking the #1 most used imaging mode in all of medicine and bringing an entirely new set of organs and procedures online for this modality. It's a big deal. The first thing we're tackling is feeding tube placement. These are sick patients. They're typically in the ICU and they've had a stroke or cancer or a major surgery or trauma. These patients in today's world have to wait days and days for a GI surgeon or a specialist to be available, and it's a very unsafe procedure. We've got a safety and a business case that I'll show over the next couple slides. This procedure is really important in medicine. I met 3 people here tonight who told me their family members had had feeding tubes, and it's expected to swell in the next 10 years as the silver tsunami hits the US medical system. So because this technology lets the procedure be done with ultrasound, and it's the only way in the entire world to use ultrasound to put in a feeding tube, it can be done at the bedside. What does that mean? Instead of the ICU doc needing to call a specialist, they can just grab our kit off the shelf, the ultrasound probe they already have, and they can do this procedure themselves right at the point of care. So you don't need to wait days and days for a surgery and chew up the hospital's margin, profit margin on the admission. The team can just take care of the patient when the procedure is needed and keep them moving on their continuum of care. We've got peer-reviewed literature showing that this device saves hospitals about $25,000 each time it's used. So that allows us to charge a really nice premium for this product. And you can see revenues are growing really nicely. We did over $1 million in sales last year. We're at about $1.3 million in trailing annual revenues. And this was with just 2 salespeople. So we're raising money to scale what we believe has been validated in the market. We're working with a lot of great clinical partners. We thank them, some here in Virginia, some in Maryland, and many all over the country. And we also have a pediatric version that's currently in clinical trials at CHOP, funded by the NIH. We can put feeding tubes in children using no radiation at all. Radiation gives kids cancer at vastly elevated rates. Doctors will go to great lengths to avoid it. We think this is going to become the new standard of care for feeding tube placement in kids very quickly, and the doctors using the device are calling it a game changer. So we're on the radar screen for a lot of strategics. We've had 2 M&A offers for the company already. The math wasn't quite right and the board declined them, but we're being tracked by all the big players in this environment, building very strong relationships with them. And the most likely exit will be an M&A to one of those players for this technology. To summarize the deal quickly, we're raising up to $9 million. We have a lead investor committed into the round. And this investment is in Maryland, and there's a great biotech tax credit program in the state of Maryland where investors can get 33 to 50% of their investment back in the form of a check from the Treasury. So it's a cash back investment, not a write-off. And I'd love to follow up with anyone after this. We have a booth outside. You can check out the procedure and see the technology. Appreciate the time. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Howard. Next presenter is CONNECTpreneur. And think about a pit crew or an operating room where the technology and the equipment has to be right at the right spot at the right time. Our next company, Tim Coffin, the CEO of CONNECTpreneur. Thanks.
See if I can figure this out here. So in times of medical emergencies, swift and efficient care is crucial. What you see here is 8 years ago, my son was in an emergency room and a critical piece of medical equipment failed. As a result, they had to run around the hospital looking for a piece of equipment. And it caused him to lose his leg. It almost killed him. It took them 45 minutes to find a replacement. All because clinicians could not find the equipment they needed. So in Latin, concuro means to seek, to find, and to procure. At Concuro, our AI-powered asset management system is going to help clinicians locate medical equipment and ensure that the equipment availability is never going to be a barrier to safe and efficient care. So as seen as my son's case, Poor asset management causes harm to patients. It also costs quite a bit of money. Loss, theft, and unplanned failure causes nurses to spend about 72 minutes per shift in hospitals looking for equipment. $4,000 per bed per year is lost. This is a $12 billion problem in the hospital that we think we have a good solution for. So at Concaro, our enterprise-level desktop mobile solution is going to use deep learning to track and locate hospital equipment in real time to prevent loss, to streamline maintenance, and help clinicians deliver better care. They'll know where things are, when they need them, and they'll be able to find them. So how it works, we're going to use a series of RFID and sensors around the hospital. We're going to use LoRaWAN technology. Basically, our system will automatically track where equipment is. There'll be no logging equipment in and out of rooms and tracking it. It will be able to tell if the equipment leaves areas where it's not supposed to be. So basically, medical equipment will always be accounted for when it's needed and where it's accessible. We're not the first person to this market. In fact, the hospital market asset system, it's an $85 billion market. We are focused on the 200-bed and plus hospital market, which is about a $375 million market. There is competition in the market because it is an $85 billion market. You have companies like Siemens, you have GE Healthcare, companies like Hardcat. You'll see there are 3 or 4 different stakeholders within the hospital. There are obviously the bean counters, the strategic people. They're looking at the cost of equipment, they're bringing it in, they're tagging it, and they're counting it. But we also have the biomedical people that are responsible for fixing equipment when it's needed. Right now, they have to use red tape in a hospital to find broken equipment. And then we have clinicians. There's a few systems out there that do RFID tracking, but they have to log it in and out of rooms. Concaro is one of the first companies that was providing services for all 3 of these communities. And we are focused on the clinician. We are a pre-seed company, but we currently have a LOI from a large Nova hospital group. And we've talked to a lot of CEOs around the company that want a system like this, and they're convinced that asset management is really a key driver for their financial performance and sustainability of their hospitals. We got a team of experienced people. I've run companies. McLean's an AI genius, and Michael is a data genius. So we work well together, and we put this together. Pricing. We're targeting this market. If we get 1% of this market in 5 years, we're going to be doing $50 million in revenue based on our financial projections. We are looking for $1.2 million in pre-seed round funds to scale our prototype to an enterprise level and to reach market readiness. So at Concaro, if you're interested in helping people, if you're interested in making sure that people don't end up like my son, paralyzed because you can't find a piece of equipment, then come join us. And we'll be outside to answer any questions. Thank you for your time.
The next presenter is Diggs, and we're moving away from the healthcare space to the pet space. Anybody have pets? Yeah. Anybody? Are you a pet? Zell Crampton is going to bring up the sort of mobile pet carrier. It's a very clever idea. Take it away.
Thanks very much. Diggs is the market leader in premium and innovative safe pet crates and kennels. We like to start all of our meetings with our mission statement as a mission-driven organization, and there's a couple things in our mission statement that actually bring out some key differentiators of our brand. We equip pet lovers with the highest standard of safety, education, and design innovation so that pets can thrive in every aspect of their lives. Believe it or not, making safe products, innovative products actually sets you apart in the pet space, which unfortunately is riddled with poor quality because of a lack of safety standards. This gives you a little bit of a brief overview, although it's not exhaustive, of our product suite. You can see that we lean into our expertise of pet containment. The Revel dog crate on the top left, which you also saw here, is our flagship product. It comes in 4 sizes, 3 colors. Starts at $375. It revolutionized the dog crate market, and I'll show you that in a second. The Evolve dog crate on the bottom left we launched last year. It's had a lot of wholesale success, lots of penetration at PetSmart, Walmart, and others. And then our inflatable kennel that I also had outside, I was demoing a few times to some people today. It's some IP we acquired from Volvo Cars to make the first inflatable travel dog kennel, also crash tested. I don't have time to go through all the wholesale expansion that we're seeing, which has been pretty tremendous. I'll give you a couple of examples. We did a 75-store test with PetSmart last year, 9-foot wide, DIG branded section. It was so successful that's rolling out to 815 PetSmarts in October. After a successful online test with Costco, we actually just opened last week our first Costco club last week, opening our second one today. So pretty excited about that. Some of you have dogs, it sounds like. The typical black wire crate is something you often will buy when you get a puppy. Sometimes people use it for the life of the dog, but they're pretty painful. They're ugly, they're hard to use, they're unsafe. Our products really kind of differentiate and innovate across the board. I don't have time to go through all the details, but if you come to the booth after, I'd be happy to tell you more about it. Very lucky to have received a lot of awards and got a lot of press. I'll give you a couple of examples. This crate was received the best dog crate 4 years in a row by Forbes. Our other dog crate Evolve was just named best dog crate for 2024 by USA Today. As far as the vision goes, we believe we can become the largest and most desirable lifestyle brand for pet products. Think Yeti for pet, or Simple Human, or Dyson for pet. If you're unfamiliar with the pet space, it's actually a huge market. In the US alone, it's a $144 billion market. We play in about a quarter of that, which is pet supplies. Believe it or not, 90 million households have a pet, of which 69 million have a dog. 70% of people think dogs or their cats are part of the family. Market's expected to grow. It's a global opportunity where the US only represents about a third of the global market. We've got a very experienced team. I don't have time to go through all the details, but my background is I worked at McKinsey and have an MBA from Columbia, spent some time in the pet industry. People on the team worked at Harry's and their growth. Our new supply chain lead ran Burton Snowboard's global supply chain for 15 years. So deep expertise across the board. We also have a very broad and experienced board of directors. I'll give you a couple of examples. Our independent director, Melissa, she was a former CMO at Calvin Klein and Yeti. Gordy and Willie Wallace built major pet durable brands and sold them. So people have seen the movie, done this before in the business. And we've seen very strong growth over the last few years. We're about 5 years old. We think we'll do about 20 million revenue this year. We're on target for that. We expect to do break even actually for the first time next month. Wholesale's driving a lot of our growth. And so we've seen, after a bit of a strategic pivot from direct-to-consumer only to a mixture of wholesale and direct-to-consumer, we've expanded our margins, and we've really kind of been successful in growing the business again. Thanks very much.
Wow, that's fast. Thanks, Sal. Just like Tim said before, not having the right equipment at the right place at the right time can be a disaster. Same thing applies to wireless communication. You know how difficult it is and potentially challenging and costly a bad cell phone reception is, like in here. The same thing is true. Can you imagine what it's like in underground, underwater, complex environments, even under the ice? So our next presenter is Saltena. I would like Dennis Defensor to come up and talk to us about what he's going to do about that.
First, special thanks to CONNECTpreneur and all the sponsors. Saltena discovered a new class of electromagnetic waves, which travels on surfaces and interfaces. This transformative technology enables our company to wirelessly communicate underwater, under the ice, under jungle canopies, inside complex infrastructure, and it punches through metal. Metal is used as a conductive surface. We call it plasmonics. A DARPA reviewer called it the most exciting development in the electromagnetic spectrum in 60 years, 60. Why does this matter? DoD, we are facing a multi-front war, and we are facing a different kind of war of autonomous attritable combined with artificial intelligence. This is a world of drones, counter-drones, drone swarms, and AI. Strategically, Sultana will affect and impact submarine warfare, seabed warfare, and most importantly, the second strike, nuclear-armed submarines will be impacted by Sultana. Commercially, we're 10 times bigger than our DoD market. There are 4 major domains where wireless does not work. Each one of these domains, there are trillion-dollar industries having unmet wireless technology needs. One example, oil and gas. Hits all 4 domains. They all dig underground, under the ice. They look for minerals under the Antarctic and Arctic Circle. They're all building complex infrastructures full of metal, blocking every wireless technology. This technology was developed by Dr. Igor Smolyanov, one of the top physicists in the world in this field. And he worked with Fermat's and equation and developed this technology and come up with plasmonics that now exist and being tested in DoD. This is the result. We are not competing against companies. We are competing against technologies. Plasmonics against acoustic, against traditional RF, against optical, in all these domains. And it surpasses everything. We are developing these new products for underground, under ice, above ground, and we're doing it for government and commercial. Our technology migration starts with the antenna. We're heading towards mesh networks, where you would have the world of drone swarms, towards base towers to expand underwater wireless communication. And the holy grail is underwater radar, which has never existed. We have R&D contracts now because of DoD. I'm negotiating the final pricing for 2 contracts, multi-million, multi-year contracts with SOCOM and DITRA. We're picking contracts where if they like the R&D, they'll buy the product from the same contract. We have a very experienced team, very strong, and we have worked with each other before. We're looking for $9 million of funding. We're spending the first $1 million to build a moat, patent everything in our space. We are also expanding engineers and general managers to expand the technology. We are developing our products for commercial and government. Why Sultana? The transformational technology, the customer-focused strategy that has given us TRL Level 3 and TRL Level 6 with DoD. And we're anticipating 2 contracts in the next 2 months. We have 2 patents, 6 patents pending, 38 plus to submit. So thank you for having us. I'm Dennis Defensor. The chairman of the company will be here. Dandy Young, we'd love to talk to you.
As we mentioned before, the ability to identify, select, and vet components across the supply chain is really important. It's business at the speed of trust. Our next presenter, this company is To The Market. Jane Mosbacher-Morris is going to tell us how she's going to develop that technology.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jane Mosbacher-Morris, and I'm the founder and CEO of To The Market. While I was at Columbia Business School as well, doing my MBA, I was studying the largest economies in the developing world and was frankly very surprised to learn that retail manufacturing is actually the second largest economy in the developing world. So the production of things like apparel, accessories, home goods, things that we touch, we wear, we engage with every single day. And yet, despite the fact that this industry is a $2 trillion industry on an annual basis, it is a wildly broken industry. The first thing I learned is that it is an analog industry. Companies use email, WhatsApp, Excel spreadsheets to do purchase orders, track production. And what that does is it creates extraordinary opacity in supply chains, meaning companies really struggle to understand what their factory is doing, how they're operating, and whether that process is compliant. That opacity then allows for bad behavior in supply chains, meaning you have things like modern day slavery and you have really heavy footprints on the environment. So it's not a surprise then that this industry, so folks who are in the business of sourcing and manufacturing, whether it's a brand, a retailer, or a corporation seeking things like uniforms, office supplies, hospitality items, is under tremendous pressure. And that pressure is coming from multiple places, from consumers like us, from investors, and perhaps most aggressively from regulation. And the regulation is not just around sustainability, which is what we often think of first. It's actually very much so also on social compliance, meaning the way in which people treat other people. And it's creating extraordinary risk for businesses who do not understand what the footprint of their supply chain looks like. We are helping to solve that challenge by building to the market as a supply chain solution to do three primary things: to help companies vet and monitor their factories, to help them digitally procure through those factories, and to help give them data on the footprint of the production that is happening at those factories. So first feature set is around vetting and monitoring factories across social compliance, business performance, and sustainability, all risk contributing factors. Second feature set is digitizing the things like sales orders, purchase orders, line sheets, production tracking. These are things that are currently offline. We're bringing them on platform. Third feature set is around reporting. Companies are needing to report to, if they're public, to the street, if they're private, often to their investors, and certainly to regulators. And they need data to report. We are helping generate that information to allow these clients to, in fact, be compliant. We went to market initially by finding the best ethical and sustainable suppliers around the world, bringing them on our platform, vetting and monitoring them, and then having clients source through them, paying us a margin on the cost of those goods. We've had great success in that initial business line, and we're now expanding the way in which our platform is utilized to actually launch a SaaS feature in addition to our transaction-based revenue, whereby existing clients and even new clients can onboard their factories to be vetted and monitored by our software. We've had 2 acquisition attempts to date, which was hugely helpful for us to understand how people perceived the value of the business, but we have multiple personas that we think would be of interest in an acquisition, and have assembled a fantastic team of folks, whether they have been operators themselves, or they've been in PE VC-backed businesses, or they've been a part of businesses on the early stage that then ended up IPOing. Our investors typically have a lens around supply chain, around retail technology, or around sustainability. And we're closing a $7.5 million round where we have just less than $1 million left, and would be very interested in talking with any of you about that. Thank you.
Thanks, Jane. Our next presenter is Vegetable and Butcher. Now, we all try to be as healthy as we can, but life gets in the way, and it's very difficult to keep up. Welcome, co-founder and CEO Turner Hoff of Vegetable and Butcher. You're going to put nutrition on autopilot.
All right, I appreciate it, everyone. Apologies, all the talking out in the lobby. I lost my voice a little bit, but I want to start with a question. Do you know what the #1 risk factor driving death and disease in our country is? You might be able to guess by the image on the screen here, but it's poor diet. Now, there are many reasons for that. Conversation for another day, perhaps. But what we've noticed and what we've observed in having conversations with our customers is that fundamentally, the greatest challenge is one of convenience. So as good as our intentions may be, as positive as our intentions may be, it takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to consistently eat healthy every meal, every day, week over week, month over month, and year over year. Now that's where we come in. My co-founder and I started Vegetable and Butcher a little over 7 years ago to make it remarkably simple to consistently eat healthy. And our solution is simple. We offer our customers more time and better health at the push of a button. So you set a health goal, tell us a little bit about yourself, and we curate a menu of nourishing, seasonal, scratch-made eats delivered directly to your doorstep on a schedule of your choosing, so that you can build and maintain these healthy habits over an extended period of time. V&B sits at the intersection of two massive consumer trends, which uniquely positions us to deliver on what we call the holy grail consumers are seeking. It's exceptional taste, sound nutrition, and good value without making trade-offs. Now, digital transformation has had a profound impact across industries for the past 20 years. Just like Netflix represents a generational step beyond TiVo with personalized and recommended content, and Dollar Shave Club achieved $1 billion outcome with niche subscription and personalization, V&B has evolved to become more than a generational step beyond traditional food and traditional grocery and food delivery by putting personalized nutrition on autopilot. And so the technology that we've built unifies the data and analytics across the entire commerce value chain. And what this allows us to do is ingest and capture usage data, customer feedback and preferences to drive improvements at every step of the customer's journey. And what this results in is an experience-driven growth flywheel. So more customers means more data, means better customer experience, which ultimately leads to more customers. But you don't have to take our word for it. You can take it from the feedback that actual users provide and compare our product and feature set to that of the competition. So what makes right now a particularly unique moment in time for us as a business is that what we've accomplished over the past 8 years to already de-risk an investment in our business. And you'll see that in the coming slides with the metrics that we'll present. So our cohort performance has never been stronger. So our customers today are spending more than ever before, with our 2023 customer cohort spending on average over $1,600 in their first 12 months, which represents a 25% increase over 2019. Our customer retention is at an all-time high, while we've stabilized and maintained CAC throughout the past several years. And that's because we dote on our customers and focus on building lifelong relationships so that they can establish a more responsible, more meaningful relationship with food. And the result is a multi-year customer relationship and a tremendous RLTV outlook. We've also unlocked growth with a brand new state-of-the-art manufacturing and distribution facility that's scheduled to open in August of this year that will 10x our production capacity. So investing today presents an opportunity to participate in the very beginning stages of regional expansion for our business. We're raising $2 million, technically 2.5 because we just got a $300,000 commitment this morning, so we're committed for 2.1, but we're raising up to 2.5. We secured an institutional investor who's leading the round. Again, total of 1.8 million committed, and our Series A process is already underway. So we've got a table outside. We'd welcome the opportunity to answer any questions that you might have, and of course, get an opportunity to try the product and food. So thank you very much for your time today.
Our final presentation is, if we think about how much we ask of our military families, we ask a great deal of both the individuals as well as the families. We ask them to move frequently, uproot their families, leave their communities behind, and start over again. So it's a real stress on them. Next company is, he's gone. Oh, there he is. Kyle Bond is the co-founder and CEO of the Wander Corporation. Thank you very much for your individual and service and your family as well.
I know I'm on the clock, so a quick but meaningful thank you for everyone being here, as well as the staff putting the event together. Everyone, I appreciate it. So, good evening. My name is Kyle Bond, co-founder of Wander Corporation, creator of the all-in-one relocation kit, or the ARC mobile app. Ernie Scott is the best damn co-founder that you could ask for, and with our partners who are here tonight, our veteran team is going to transform the way the military and veteran community move. And this transformation is a must because, frankly, the current process is putting lives at risk. I can show you how. Every year, 1/3 of the military will move from one duty station to the next. That is from point A to point B. The current process is such that the DoD provides assistance with transportation of household goods between point A and point B, but fails to address many of the aspects of a move at point A and at point B, which is where we come in. We seek to complement the current process and make it better. An example of the problems experienced and my personal why for co-founding the company was when I was in the Marine Corps, I was a Marine Raider, part of the Special Operations Command, and my most recent move was from California to here in Virginia. When I moved, my wife had to give up her career, and she lost connection to the very community that supported her through each of my 4 overseas deployments. She left everything and moved with me to an uncertain and unfamiliar future. And within 2 weeks of arriving here in Virginia, 2 men attempted to abduct my wife. No service member should have to risk their family's safety in the service of this nation. Full stop. What we're going to do is recognize that our experience was not unique. There are 21 million active military veterans and military spouses who have experienced the same or similar problems. In doing so, this issue is so large that this population represents 12% of all residential real estate purchases in the US each year. For how large and how dark this problem is, though, there is a light that can be shined on that, and that is our solution, the ARC mobile app. ARC is a service-based social platform that we offer a simple 3-step process where users can plan for the challenges that we just covered, connect with others who are at their duty station before they even arrive, and connect with vetted service providers that will then facilitate the move, everything all in one place, all on the app. It is honestly the best thing that we've done so far. The way that we generate revenue for this company is that we have a split referral-based commission for real estate transactions where we generate $2,400 per residential sale. In addition, our service providers pay a monthly fee to offer their services to our users. Our users get to enjoy a free, trusted resource and community, while our service providers get to enjoy high conversion rates with limited competition. Up to date, we have helped 40 military families move across 4 countries. In doing so, we've built our app around what worked for them, around our experience, and around the thousands that we've interviewed. We are currently in the process of achieving appropriations, as well as working with the Veteran Affairs Committee up on the Hill to get this app adopted as a service to both the DoD and the veteran community. And in doing so, we've achieved partnerships with key players who allow us to offer our services nationally from day one, and day one is fast approaching. When we launch, day one is fast approaching in the sense that we are ready presently to launch this app on both iOS and Android, and the IP is currently at patent pending. Our vision for the company is tied directly to what the Veteran Affairs Committee has asked us to help them with. As we grow, we want to be the pocket companion for the entire life cycle of the military service member, such that from recruit to veteran, no matter what base they're at in the world or town that they live in America, they will have access to key services. Key services like a child care network, having home service professionals, health services, and even addressing rural issues for veterans that live in those areas. We're seeking $500,000, and with that $500,000, we're going to commit to increasing our marketing of our awareness of the application, onboarding service providers nationally, and getting ready for our launch, which will be this winter, at 15 bases across 9 states. When we hit our growth and expansion phase, of course, we'll be looking at driving adoption and then refining and expanding the features that we provide to our military. Again, we are Wander Corporation, creators of the ARC mobile app. We're looking to redefine the way the military and veteran community move, and at scale, differentiate and make different the way the military community navigates military life. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you for your service and everything you're doing. Tim, thank your son for our service as well. Just to wrap things up, I do want to mention that we are up at Refraction with a CONNECTpreneur lounge, which is available for free usage 3 times a month. So if anyone's interested, let us know. And again, Refraction is offering a great deal for the CONNECTpreneur community. Again, 3 dates to keep in mind: July 24th, Connect Tales in Arlington, Virginia; August 8th, CONNECTpreneur Premium event in DC at the City Club; and our virtual event is June 27th. We have the place for another little over an hour, so please visit our presenting companies, and thank you for joining us.